Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we'll be looking at Firebase and introduction to Firebase. So what is Firebase and how did Firebase come about? Firebase was an original plan by James Tamplin and Andrew Lee. They created these API for chats integration to mobile, but after some time they discovered that developers, that was in 2011, but after some time they discovered that developers were using it for real-time state management and transmission of game data. So they decided to separate the chat functionality and the game data and the real function or the real-time data transmission separately. So that was how Firebase was created. So in the year 2014, Google purchased Firebase, and that was how it became a Google product. So with that said, let's quickly dive into what we have today. So for you to use Firebase, you must have a Google account, a Gmail account. So I already have my Gmail account, and once I go to console.firebase.google.com, it will take me straight to the first account on my system. And if this is not the default account you want to use, then you can change it from here. So here, I will quickly dive in by creating a project. Let me call it mobile app. So it will give it an extension for me. I accept the terms and condition and I create it. So it will ask whether I need to enable Google Analytics for all this here. I don't need Google Analytics for now, so I create my project. So while this is loading, Firebase it's uh, a package, or do I say it's a resource, online resource for storing data in real time. And also it can be used for so many things. So in a moment we'll look at that, and okay, my new project has been created. So I continue. So I want to introduce us to most of the things that Firebase is being used for or can be used for. So this is my project, and over here in project overview you have the settings, project settings, you have user permission and bill, and you have usage and billing. So for the project setting, this is where you configure how your project work, whether you want to use it in iOS platform, Android or web. And they also added Unity app for those that develop in Unity app. So here I can change my project name. This is the project ID which this will be working with. So once you put your cursor here, it will give you information concerning um, the property which you are looking at. So at this point, you might need to select support email just for the public who wants to contact you for one or two things. So basically, this is the project number, and this is user assigned unique identifier for you, which may appear under your URL. And also, this might be, and this also is the public facing name. Let's say you send a mail to somebody or to a user from your Firebase, use it for through Firebase authentication, email authentication, or email verification. This is what will appear. So you might want to change this. So another thing we'll be looking at here is cloud messaging. Now, most of us might be seeing some cloud pop up here and there, like let's say Facebook will send you a message, you have two new notifications. LinkedIn will tell you that you have three new notifications. All those are cloud messaging, and this is where you pick your cloud, your server key for you to make it work. But in a way, we will still go dive into that later on in the course of our training and tutorial. So another thing I would like us to look at is integration. Now, you can integrate your Firebase to Google Analytics, AD Google AD, and so many other things, so many other applications, online applications. You can integrate it with them and receive data in real time from them. So another thing is service account. So for this service account, it is used to manage your credentials, your Firebase credentials. I wouldn't want to dive in much into that. And data privacy, which is an article that tells you what your data you're storing in Firebase, how it's been managed and stored for you. And we have user and permission. So currently, if I want another developer to come up and start working on this project called mobile app, I will simply add the person, add the member. I will put the person's email, developer at gmail.com. So if I put something like this and I specify the role, whether he can be an owner, he can edit things in Firebase, or he can just view without being able to edit things, or assign a particular function to the person or a particular role to the person. All these things can be done here. So I can do this, and once done, I will add member. So what happens is that an email will be sent to this particular person, inviting them to start collaborating here. So that's that for that. And this app check, I've not used it. So, okay, from what we have here, we have that app check protects your product API from unverified requests. So that's what it does. And although I've not used it extensively, but we will still be looking at that in the course of our. So users and permission, we've talked about it here. And also we have usage and billing. So for now, I'm using, once you register or once you create your project, you have the free uh, this thing, the free tire or the free license to use it, but you have limited resources on what you can use it for. So it has limited amount of things you can use it for, like the number of SMS you can send, the number of authentication per day. So that's that. So let's go to build and look at it. After this build, we will just stop at this build for today. So for Firebase authentication, we have Firebase authentication, and once you click on it, you have getting started. Now we have email and password authentication, which means integrating this, users can log into their app via email and password authentication. This Firebase provides you the back end to be able to manage every stages of that email and password authentication and verification. So once a person creates an account, it sends out a mail to the person to verify the email. Once the person verifies, it creates an account for the person and stores it up. Now Google is just uh, an, should I call it an OTP verification? There a request is being sent to Google for a token, and Google responds with that token. And once they respond, and additional data about yourself, like your email address, your phone number, your name, once Google sends it back, then you are authenticated and verified. Same thing with Facebook, same thing with play games, uh, Google services, console services, and Apple, GitHub, and the rest of them. So the one I want to talk about is this phone. The phone authentication is the most commonly used one in mobile applications now. Now, the the way of using phone authentication is simply by going into your Firebase, configuring it, and when you might have set it up and somebody registers using phone number, an OTP is sent from Firebase to that particular phone number, and the person is required to enter that OTP for verification of that phone number. Once that is done, an account will be created for that person with a random key string as an ID for that particular account. So that's that for now. And I will be talking about authentication and real-time database. These are the real-time database and storage. So these are the three which we'll focus on for today. Other time we'll talk about the Firestore database and okay, let's talk about the Firestore database, real-time database, and storage. Next time we'll talk about other ones. So we cover just for today. So um, for the Firestore database, this is just a real-time database that you can use to push data to and fro your application. It's so powerful that once you send data within seconds, microseconds, your data appears in your database, which is hosted here. And most application which has been developed with these includes ride-hailing app, um, real-time data transmission app for locations and the rest of them. So as you are moving, it's updating your location in real time and storing it in the database. So it's so powerful that you can create the database using NoSQL formats or the normal document SQL format, which we know, and so many other things. So the real-time database is just like Firestore. It can be used to store your data in real time and also retrieve it. And then the storage is just like a location where you store your, let's say you have something like profile pictures, audio, images, and you need to store them for use in your application, then you can easily push them to this place. So I intend to keep this tutorial short until we start using most of these uh, uh, most of these in our tutorials and project which we'll be doing subsequently. So thank you for your time. The next tutorial will be on how to make use of user authentication.